Oh, yes. Peace and blessings. Welcome, welcome,
Peace and
everyone.
blessings.
Um, Welcome to our first live stream for 2026.
Yeah.
Um, we hope that y'all doing well. This is Omi Sachet and Sister Ajay Wura. We are happy to be here again. To
Together.
together, definitely together in the same frequency, even though we might be physically not in the same place, we definitely in the same space at this time, and we are happy to invite you in. um Now our topic this week is going to be letting go of stress by utilizing faith to overcome fear. But before
Mm.
we get into our topic and before we get into our meditation, Sister Ajay, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing. I'm very reflectionary,
Mm-hmm.
which I always get at the end of one cycle and the beginning of a new. And even though, with my belief system, this is not the actual new year, but it is a
Mm-hmm.
new cycle and it is a new beginning.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
And so, anytime we can decide to reinvent ourselves, we need to maximize that. And so,
Mm-hmm.
whatever they're calling it is fine, but I know what I'm using it as and what I'm utilizing it for my elevation and my evolving. Is
Absolutely.
just to be reflectionary upon, my life lining up with what I desire and what I deserve.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also felt, when January 1st came, it didn't feel like the transition had occurred. I honestly only began to feel some a new energy or some momentum that I would call like a new year. I like how you said new cycle. On Sunday, this last new moon. Now,
Hmm.
this new moon that came in on Sunday, this started to feel more like a new year. So, even though we're not necessarily talking about astrology or anything like that right now, or officially talking about astrology, I guess why this is coming up is because we have to pay attention to cycles. And like you said, Sister Ajay, they may not be, lined up with what we are told is the new start. So,
Hmm.
and even bringing this back to meditation, because once you have a meditation practice, once you commit to that, things start to reveal themselves to you. So you become
Absolutely.
more aware of your own cycles. And we're not
Mhm.
talking about cycles, in terms of your menstrual cycle. We're not talking about that cycle. That is a cycle if you are a sister, right? We're talking
Mhm.
about just cycles that you notice in your own life.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And even moon cycles, because as women, because we're, this is soul talk for sisters, we
Mhm,
really have to start studying the moon cycles.
mhm,
Because as you just talked about, we just had the new moon in Capricorn on the 18th.
mhm,
And this is something I share with the ladies that are, healing with me on the journey, going through our chakras and just sharing self-love techniques. Is the new moon in Capricorn is about stepping up and leading.
mhm.
Step up and lead. And so
Step up
looking at
and
your
lead.
life, yes, looking at your life and seeing where is an area or areas that you can step up This is a self reflection. This is
Mm-hmm.
not about what anybody else is telling you that you shoulda, coulda, woulda, did. This is your own self assessment of
Mm-hmm.
where in what area in your life can you step up and lead.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't
Yeah,
mean when you say lead, it doesn't mean lead someone else all the time.
that's right. Yeah,
It means where can you step up in your own life and lead yourself to a better experience,
that's right. Yeah,
a
yeah,
more a more vibrant experience, a
yeah.
more electrifying experience, a more liberating experience,
Mm-hmm.
a more free experience. How can you
Mm-hmm.
step up and lead in your own life? That's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
taking it as
Mm-hmm.
in
Yeah.
this new moon in Capricorn, but just want to leave that with the people that just meditate and think about that, not judging yourself, or criticizing about anything in your past, but just where in your life that you would want to be better.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Ashe. As we were, as we had our screen with the benefits of meditation, I was thinking about an 11th benefit. Meditation definitely helps to reduce fear.
Yes,
I
it
think we
does.
need it. I think we need to add it. Okay.
Yes, of course, of
Um,
course.
a meditation mindset. And what I mean by that, having the knowledge and the habit that is formed because you participate on a regular basis gives you the ability to confront something that may be happening in your life or just happened with the ability to reduce that fear, either reduce or eliminate.
Mm-hmm.
Because quite honestly, we might, depending upon what it is, we might be able to tone it down, bring it down so it's not paralyzing us. The
Mm-hmm.
elimination of the fear may be further work, maybe more meditation, maybe journal writing, maybe crystal healing, maybe womb work, the elimination of that fear. But I think a good uh way to connect what we're about to do with how this can assist with fears to understand that if you are breathing, if your eyes are closed and you're breathing, you're consciously breathing and you're consciously thinking about your breath. In that consciousness, your attention is inward because every time you have to take your mind and focus on the inhale, the exhale, the inhale, the exhale. At least that's what I like to share. That
Right.
takes your mind. That's one technique. There are many techniques with meditation, but one technique that I think that people can carry with them anywhere
Mm-hmm.
is that because you're always breathing, right?
Right. Right.
So since you're always breathing in the midst of, like I think about those sisters who, you might be working on a job and it's very stressful, and maybe you really don't like this job, that it's
Right.
really, really a struggle for you when you go there, but you can't quit it, even, or you don't think that you could quit it because you're stressed because of finances, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
while you're on the job
Mm-hmm.
and that stress comes up, you can take a few moments to breathe. You can take a few deep breaths. I'm going to share something that, a little bit of something that I experienced yesterday. I was in a conversation with another individual. I was on a three-way conversation with another individual, and it had to do with a business transaction relating to my father's estate. The other individual was attempting to, how would I say, create an argument to provoke.
Mm-hmm.
Uh huh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the nature of what we were talking about needed to be addressed very cautiously because there's a contract in place, right? And the individual asked a question that maybe for a lot of people it would have slipped by the emotion. They would have answered with the emotion. I felt the emotion, but I immediately closed my eyes and started breathing. And
Mm.
the individual was waiting for a response. There was silence
Mm-hmm.
because I was breathing to assist me to respond from a higher place, a closer, like that, if you want to call it spirit space, God place, calm space,
Mm-hmm.
in control space, because I wanted to control
Yeah.
that we're not going where you trying to take me.
Yeah. I'm
We're
gonna hold my power. I'm
not,
gonna
right.
hold
I'm
my
gonna hold
power.
my power, right? And I said what I said. The person, I gave a response, and I asked the person, because what came up for me after that silence, the breathing, was ask them exactly what they want to ask, because they were
Mm.
asking a question that was a trick question. So I heard clearly, ask the person, it seems like you have a direct question. Why don't you ask that question?
Right.
And and they asked the question, something that had been discussed previously, but
Mm-hmm.
now you're trying to light the fire again, right?
Right. Right. Right.
And I was fine. It was clear because I had taken, I did a little mini meditation. I had taken about 10 deep breaths. I said, well, we'll think about that and we'll get back to you. And what did the individual do that was trying to
Trigger.
provoke? Said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, oh, okay, all right. And we hung up. Um, that comes up for me to share with those who may find themselves. We are in who may find themselves in situations that provoke them, that
Mm-hmm.
provoke fear, that provoke anger. Um, and again, there is so much power and control in simply intentionally saying, you know what, right now, you might not close your eyes. Maybe you're at work, you might not actually close your eyes, or you're in the midst of an argument with your
Mm-hmm.
partner. Maybe the kids are getting on your nerve. It could be any type of situation. So you
Right.
don't necessarily have to close your eyes, although what we're getting ready to do, we're encouraging you to close your eyes. But you
Okay.
certainly can remember to breathe, because with your eyes open, you can still be in a meditative state.
Right.
You can be in an inward state, meditating on connecting to your inner power in this moment, meditating on connecting to the peace, to the control that's within you. They even talk about it in neuroscience. So I'm gonna go a little nerdy here before we go
Into meditation.
before we go into meditation. Because So the neuroscience part, I'm gonna break it down to simple, right? When you are angry, upset, fearful, anxious, you see, I'm circling my hand here. This section on the left side of your brain, maybe it's like a little bit up above your ear. That's the place where that's happening. That is the place where fight or flight is happening. Like literally, that is the space and place in your brain where you're looped, where you're stuck. So that is the place where such and such said A, and now you in a full blown curse out match with them. That's the
Mm.
place where, the kids are getting on your nerves and you just went berserk. That's the place that we see most of what we see with this uncontrolled energy stuck. It's a stuck state, constantly, constantly, constantly in that part of the brain. But here's what's I knew this from doing it and from the spiritual aspect of it, but from the neuroscience aspect of it, when you um, when you take deep breaths, you stop that, and you move the processing center to the prefrontal cortex. And
Mm.
that area of the brain, now, Sister Audrey, now what does that look like? Third eye, third eye, third eye, third eye. Well, prefrontal cortex, you move
Mm-hmm.
the awareness to the prefrontal cortex. That is about emotional regulation, fear regulation. So when
Mm.
I say that whatever might be coming, what you that might be causing you fear, breathe,
Breathe.
breathe, breathe deeply, breathe wherever you are in that moment. Breathe before you speak. Woo! And
Power.
what you will find is if you get in the habit of doing that, breathe before you act. If you get in the habit of doing that, your
Mm-hmm.
what you say and your
Mm-hmm.
actions will come in a more, how would you say, higher controlled space,
Right. Yeah, you're
right?
resonating on a higher vibration now, and it's hard to connect with you with someone resonating on a lower
That's
vibration.
right.
They're
Right.
triggering or they're traumatizing. Initiation will not connect with you at all.
Will
You're
not
you're too
connect with
you're
you.
too higher. You're too high for them to reach.
Right. You're too definitely. You're too high for them to reach. Definitely, definitely. And it's something, yes, you have to practice it.
Of
We're not
course.
going to say you don't practice it, but we are encouraging you. The benefits of practicing it is that you discover a powerful part within yourself that helps you to
Mhm.
navigate through these times, through the stress in a way that you know that you are being guided now from inner spirit, inner strength, because you now see different reactions from people when you have a different reaction.
Yeah. And that's
Different.
really Sister Umi, that's really why this platform was created. So we
Hmm.
can start dissolving the layers that's keeping
Hmm.
us from our greatest self, our higher power,
Hmm.
which is within ourselves. Each one of us has it. But a lot of times things have been designed outside of ourselves, like you were saying, to trigger, to
Hmm.
pull and keep us stressed, to pull and keep us in
Hmm.
a state of fear, to pull and keep us where we're traumatized, where we are cussing and arguing and
Yeah,
fussing and fighting and complaining and negatively speaking. There's a design that tries to keep us, what you talked about as well, in that loop,
mhm,
where we're not using our first eye, we're not
mhm.
using our pineal gland,
Right.
which keeps us into our spiritual consciousness.
Mhm.
There's the things that has been designed to take us out of that spiritual consciousness because it keeps you unaware. And when you're
That's right.
unaware of your consciousness and you're allowing your subconscious mind to control you, there's a lot of things that you would do that you otherwise wouldn't have done if you just breathe.
That's right. Yeah.
If you
That's
just
right.
take a breath, like you said, before you speak or before you act or before
Mhm.
you express yourself in any kind of detrimental or negative or low vibrational way, and you breathe, it heightens your vibration.
That's right.
It
Yeah.
takes you higher than what is outside of you or who is outside of you.
Mhm.
You just don't have the time, the energy, or the effort to associate yourself with something so low and demeaning.
Yes.
And once
Ah,
you start feeling that level of liberation, that level of power, that level of freedom, that no one has the power to take me low.
right.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
always in control of me
Mm-hmm.
instead of another person outside of me having control of me. And now I'm having a bad day. And now
Right.
I'm just, in this negative cycle and this spin and this loop where I'm just cussing and fussing. I got road rage. I'm banging
Right.
on the steering wheel. I'm cursing down the highway. I'm in this negative energy. I got a negative attitude. I'm in a detrimental mood. Man, that's stress.
Yeah.
That does a lot to us that we don't see. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why we're saying that this topic is about letting go of stress,
Mm-hmm.
utilizing faith, knowing that you are more powerful than anything on this planet, and standing
Mm-hmm.
in that power to overcome fear, adversity, whatever it is that may afflict you. We have the power to overcome it. We do not have to allow external things to overwhelm us in any type of detrimental or negative way. And so
Absolutely.
that's the power of meditation. That's the power of
Mm-hmm.
breath. And it seems so simplistic. It does. It seems like they just saying breathe. Don't they know what I'm going through? Don't they know how
Exactly.
this person
Yeah.
tried to come for me and play in my face or whatever? But just breathe.
That's yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you practice it like you said, you'll see the power of it,
Mm-hmm.
which is why we created this meditational platform, because
Absolutely.
we want our people to know that we all have the power to stay in
Mm-hmm.
our power.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. To stay in our power and to be able to control. I'm going to say it. I thought it. I was going to try to edit it, but I'm going to let it come out how it comes out, because to be able to control what our what the events and energy is in our lives. That is possible. Yes, it is absolutely possible, even during these times. Yes, we do not have to be, how would I say, the um, the actors and actresses of the messaging of the toxic um, messaging that is being presented to us. We have
Hmm.
a choice, but we have
Yeah,
to
we
learn
don't
that
we
we
don't
have
have to
that choice.
participate. We
We don't
don't
have
have
to
to participate.
participate. That's why we created this platform, because you can make a choice to participate in something that's life giving, not something that is going to take away from your life. That fear, that overwhelming feeling of fear, that uncontrolled anger, that is taking away from your life.
Yeah,
So
because it causes
therefore,
stress.
yep, because of the stress, it's taking away from your life. Sometimes people think that that is their power, because that, we kind of get accustomed to what I would call the dysfunction, that we don't feel like we feel powerful if we ready to tear somebody up. I'm a kick there, what they did, blah, blah, and this is what we're ailing with. So
Yeah.
you know what, the sisters, who we often don't realize how much power we have. That's why we call this Melanated Sisters Soul Talk. If you learn how to harness your energy and move it up,
Hmm.
every else, your family, your job, everybody else around, if you learn how to bring, you'll find they're going to fall in line with that energy. But if you keep slugging it out, I'm going to cuss this one out, or this one did, then you're going to be down in the mud consciously, energetically,
Hmm.
rolling around, not knowing how you could get yourself clean and free and feeling good and light. So, having said that, I think I'm going to start this evening's meditation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And we're going to ask those of you that are watching, whether you're watching right now in this present moment, well, every moment is the present moment. Even if you're watching the recording, it's the present moment for you. So I'm going to ask you to please just simply close your eyes. I just want you to close your eyes in this moment. And now, with your eyes closed, I want you to just pay attention to knowledge to yourself, the inhales and the exhales. Just pay attention to your breathing now. You may have a lot of other thoughts coming up for you as you're trying to pay attention to your breathing. That's okay. That's your mind bringing up things, letting you know what you can release. So, if thoughts come up for you as you're paying attention to your breathing, just go back to the breath. Pay attention to how it feels when you're inhaling through your nose, and how does it feel when you're exhaling through your mouth. And then repeat that again and again. Repeat that awareness again and again. You may also want to place your hands on your abdominal area. And as you are inhaling, feel the abdomen expand. And as you exhale, feel the abdomen release. Or you may want to place one hand on your abdomen and one hand on your heart. And as you inhale, you'll feel the abdomen expand, but you'll also be aware of your heart center. And as you exhale, the abdomen will decrease, but you still have an awareness on your heart center. So now let's all together take a deep inhale and slowly exhale. Let's take another deep inhale and hold. And slowly exhale, allowing yourself to relax and release. Let's take another inhale. Hold. And exhale. Now returning to your own pattern and rhythm of breathing, we'll continue to focus on each inhale and exhale. I want you to imagine that you are inhaling peace and calm through the crown of your head, the top of the head, and exhaling that peace and calm through every cell in your body. Now you're just using your imagination. There's no limit on your imagination. So imagine that you're inhaling peace and calm, and then exhaling that peace and calm all throughout the body, pulsing through the soles of the feet. And taking another deep inhale Imagining, inhaling peace and calm and exhaling that peace and calm all throughout your body, releasing through the soles of the feet. Now continue to focus on each inhale and exhale. Continue to focus on inhaling peace and calm and exhaling that peace and calm all through your body so that your pattern of breathing and your focus is in a circle of peace and calm. Inhaling the peace and calm through the top of the head and exhaling the peace and calm out through the body, and then repeating that again and again. Really be present with your breath. Maybe on the next two inhales, you inhale just a little bit more deeply and exhale a little bit more fully. Maybe noticing where there might be a little bit of tension, parts of your body that need a little bit more peace and calm. And on that next inhale and exhale, sending that peace and calm to those parts of your body. Remember, we're in an unlimited space and field. There's no limit on imagination. Imagine that you are sending peace and calm to places in your body that need it. Continue to focus on each inhale. Now, I want you to imagine that you have a piece of paper and a pen in your hand. Remember, there's no limitation on your imagination. Imagine that you are writing down what you are afraid of. What is your greatest fear at this moment? Maybe as you start to write, you notice that it's more than one thing. As you continue to focus on each inhale and exhale, bringing your attention back to the breath, not allowing yourself to be distracted. Continue to write down your fears. It might be one big fear. It might be many fears. Continue to imagine that you're writing down what you are afraid of. In this moment, take a deep inhale and exhale. Is there something else that you need to add to your list of fears? Add it now. Now, As you continue to focus on each inhale and exhale, take that piece of paper and fold it in half, and fold it in half again, and continue to fold it in half until it becomes very, very small, while you continue to deeply inhale and deeply exhale. You're folding this piece of paper that represents all of the fears that you have been feeling. And right now, this piece of paper is very small. And I want you to bring your awareness to colorful balloons that are in front of you. They may be pink and blue and yellow and orange and green, all types of colors. Now pick one. Pick the one that you are attracted to. Hold it in your hand and place that tiny piece of paper that represents your fears inside of the balloon. Hold the balloon in front of you with its string, and with knowing that this piece of paper that represents your fears is now inside of this balloon. Holding on to the string of this balloon, raise your hand up towards the sky, looking up towards the sky as you look at this balloon that has all of the fears that you've written down inside of it, and let it. Watch this balloon as it floats up high, 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 high above you into the sky. And continue to watch it as you continue to focus on your breath. And continue to watch it until you can't see it anymore. And in this moment, realize that all that you have written, all of those fears that you have written, have been released out into the unlimited sky where you no longer can see them. Continue to focus on your breathing. Focusing on each inhale and exhale. Focusing on your rhythm of breath. Let's all together take a deep inhale and hold, and slowly exhale, bringing your awareness back into the room. Let's take a deep inhale and hold, and exhale, bringing your awareness to the soles of your feet, maybe wiggling your toes. Taking a deep inhale and exhale, bringing your awareness to your hands and placing your hands together in front of your chest in prayer position. Really being aware how it feels for each finger to be touching each other. Maybe straightening your spine ever so gently. Taking a deep inhale here. And exhale, bring awareness to your heart center. And placing your hands in prayer position on your forehead. Bringing awareness to the top of your head and your forehead. Taking a deep inhale and exhale. Now taking a deep inhale and exhale, slowly lowering your hands all the way down until they land in your lap, and slowly opening your eyes. Well, welcome back, everybody. Just take a moment to just feel yourself being in this moment with your eyes open. Welcome back. This is an example, Sister Ajay. I believe it could have been both of us saying the same thing, where you take control. You take control of that fear. Now, some of you may say, well, this thing or this situation is still occurring. However, when you're able to disassociate the fear, like in this meditation, disassociate it using your imagination, using the breath. I come back to what I mentioned before we went into meditation. You are bringing the processing of your brain to the prefrontal cortex, which regulates fear, which regulates your emotion. And really, what you're doing is you're making space for God, spirit, universe, whatever you call that higher power, to speak through and guide through you. Because on the other side of fear, there is faith. I wrote down an affirmation that I personally came up for me a few days ago. I release all fear and surrender into the faith. And if I had to give a symbolic place within ourselves, then I would say that faith can be accessed in this region of the brain, in this region of our heads. Whether if you might think about it in terms of chakras, however you think about it, if you think about it in terms of neuroscience, your faith region, your faith center is here. And how can you, if you remember that when I deeply breathe, I am able to control that fear or that feeling of fear and make room, make space to hear or to feel or to see, because we all have different gifts, what you should do. to receive the message. Ah. So, Sister Aj, what would you like to add to that?
That was a powerful meditation. Thank you, Sister Umi.
You're welcome.
Um, the other side of fear is faith. Is really standing out with me right now,
Mhm.
because there's always that yin and yang. And so there has to be something for us as a people. There has to be something outside of fear and outside of stress and outside of trauma and outside of all of the things that we all probably have experienced in this life at some point or another. But there's always a better side.
Yeah.
And meditation actually slows things down for you
Mm.
and brings you back into the most naturalist element of yourself, which is breath.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can never live without breath. You can go days without food, you can go days without water, but you can never go without breath. Never can you go without breath. You can hold your breath, but you can't go without breath.
That's right.
And so that is the nourishment to the soul, is the breath.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also doing some reading on the meaning of spirit, and spirit is breath.
Mm-hmm. That's
Spirit
great.
is breath. And we have the element of breath, which keeps us sustained and maintained in this life. But we also have soul. And so the breath, when people speak about what the difference between spirit and soul is, spirit is breath.
Mm-hmm.
There's many people breathing, but that doesn't mean that their soul is alive, that their soul is vibrant, that their soul is not depressed and suppressed. And so we have to get into the art of nourishing the soul, nourishing the soul. And that's what meditation is for me. It nourishes my
Mm-hmm.
soul. It gives me time to slow down thoughts that I may have, because fear
Mm-hmm.
will come. Fear will come.
Absolutely.
We all have feared at some time or another. So it's not that we can cast out all fear. It's not that we're saying meditation can remedy and erase fear,
That's right.
because fear comes through life. Fear,
Mm-hmm.
there are things in life that we fear, and fear causes stress on the nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
Meditation relieves that. And like Sister Umi said, it allows your higher power to come in, so your higher power can govern you. Your
Yeah.
higher power can direct you. Your higher power can give you the answers that can help you get out of the fearful or stressful situation. We have to acknowledge and surrender to the divine that we don't know everything. We don't know um how to do everything, and how to get ourselves out of a lot of the situations that life may show us, show up as. But that's when
Mm-hmm.
we have to call on our higher power. And that's what faith is.
That's right.
Faith is, no matter what's going on, and I'm practicing this in my own personal life at this time. Spirit was like, you got to build your faith, got to be stronger, Ajay.
Mm-hmm.
Your faith
Me
is
too.
strong when you can control and when you can know and when you can map everything out. But when it comes to the unknown, that's when you start losing faith, because you're not in control. So I've been practicing surrendering to the divine,
Mm-hmm.
because I had to acknowledge through all things, it's always been the divine anyway. It's never been me.
That's
It's
right.
never been absolutely just me by myself doing anything. It's always been the higher power that is within me, and that upholds me, and that directs me, and that corrects me, and that guides me. It's always been the divine. And so we have to, in these times, we have to build our faith and just surrender to the divine. We don't know what's going to happen day to day. We don't
Mm-hmm.
know what the government is going to do. We don't know, what ICE is going to do. We don't know, what the people at the job is going to do. We
That's
can't
right.
be in fear of these things. We have to take that energy that we're utilizing to fear and use it for faith.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because one has to really ask yourself, well, if I continue to fear, where will that, where will, what would be the outcome? Because fear creates chaotic energy, creates reactionary energy. And often people will say, well, I was afraid, that's why I did that. Or I was angry, that's why I did that. So one allowed a, how would we say, and that could be for another call to explore, a lower frequency feeling or energy, fear, anger, doubt, to overwhelm you rather than coming back to the breath, going within, breathing to allow that higher energy to guide you, to navigate you, to give you that instruction, so to speak. Yeah, like Sister Ajay said, we're not saying that fear is not there. I'm not saying that I don't have things that make me afraid. But what I do is I go to the breath. I don't stay in that state long. I don't allow my, I don't, I do something and just usually breathe deeply. I gave the example of the phone call. Had I reacted at the level that was coming to me, it would have had a negative reaction. I got silent. Silence was not what the person was expecting. I disrupted their lower, um, their intention to have a lower energy response through fear. The person was trying to make me be afraid. Silence. And when I spoke from the guidance that came within and was able to, how would I say, control the mood, control the energy. It wasn't about faith. It was about, it wasn't about fear. It was about now that higher energy of, how would I say, controlling the moment. All of the things that could have happened did not happen. So we're coming to the close, last couple of minutes of our stream this evening. And those of you that might have been watching, and those of you that will watch, because this is recorded, I think both Sister Ajay and I know that there will be something here for you, and that you are watching because you are called upon to learn about this part of yourself that we are describing. And what's interesting, when I say learn, we could think about something we have to read or something, that we have to take a course for. This is simply close your eyes and breathe.
And I also like, Sister Umi, how you said write down your fears. I want to leave that with people
Mm-hmm.
because that's something that even I myself, we have this hesitancy to acknowledge what we fear. We
Mm-hmm.
feel like if we address it, it might come to pass. But
Mm-hmm.
actually, when you avoid it, you give fear more power,
That's right.
which
Yeah.
creates more stress in your life because in your subconscious mind, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
But when you
Mm-hmm.
face it and you address it, it takes the air out of that balloon.
That's right.
It's
Yeah.
not something that I want to happen, and we can use our words and our throat chakra to speak against things
Mm-hmm.
that we fear.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have to acknowledge the things in our lives that we fear, because it's actually creating a unseen stress.
That's right. Yes, I'll
And
say
that stress affects your nervous system, your endocrine
Mhm.
system, your
Mm.
cellular system. You may not see it, but you feel it.
Yeah.
And that, disrupts our moods and our emotions and our day-to-day functioning through life.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
just not going through life as vibrant as you could or as you
Mhm.
should. You just kind of low. You
Mhm.
low energetically. You don't have the vibration or the happiness or the joy that you really want to have, which means we're not living life. We're actually
Right.
surviving life.
That's right. Mhm.
We're not living at a high vibrational level because of these unknown or unseen or untapped into fears, which
Mhm.
causes stress. So we're just asking that we all stand on faith.
Mhm.
But like Sister Umi said, faith is the other side of fear. You can't get to faith unless you address your fears.
Absolutely.
And then in
Absolutely.
order to address your fears, you got to know that fear creates stress.
Mhm.
Both of those two things, fear, which creates stress, is robbing you of life.
That's right. Ooh, tell the
It's
truth.
robbing you of us
Mhm.
living what we deserve.
Mhm.
Because as long as we stay in the fear, you're actually creating more things to fear in your subconscious mind.
Mhm. Mhm. It becomes an addiction.
Yeah.
We
So
might not
so
think of
write
it
down
that
your
way.
fears. Write down
Mhm.
your fears. And if anyone wants to put anything in the chat about what they fear, but we'll circle back next week when we have this call again, just so people can engage and just acknowledge what you fear, because I definitely just want to see my list.
Right. Yeah. 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 I definitely think that we'll explore this a little further next week because it's so important, as we are in this first month of the year. But like we talked about the seasons, we can be prepared for a year that can be joyful, that can be prosperous, that can be healthy, but we must learn how to go within, follow the breath, meditate, give ourselves different images. So I use the images on purpose so that you would experience a shifting in how you felt about the fears and that they would be disconnected from you. So I want to thank everyone for their time and for watching and join us next week. It sounds like the topic emerged through us, so we're going to further explore this next week. It seems like that's what came through Sister Ajay, and I agree. I think it's worth looking at for two
Yeah,
weeks.
because we've never learned how to, look at our fears or acknowledge our
Right.
fears. That's not something we, learned in school or, you
Oh,
know, when you were at adolescence or young adulthood, or even when we came into womanhood. When did we ever get to address our fears?
that's right. It's not something that we
Do we talk about it in relationships with our
learn.
partners? Do we talk about it
Mhm.
with our marriage, within our marriage? Do we talk about it with your girlfriends? Do you talk about it with your mother, your sister friends, your kids? When do Black women get to talk about what they fear?
Right. When do we get to talk about what we fear? And it's important. And it's important to talk about it in a space where it can be identified and transmuted.
In a
That's
safe space, in a
in a
safe
safe
space,
space.
without
Hmm.
judgment. Because
Hmm.
we'll find, as which is why we call this the sister melanated sister circle because Black women need to get together and talk about a lot of the things that are affecting us. Because
Yes.
what
Yes.
we find is that the same things are affecting us. When you walk by me in the grocery store, you don't know what's going on in my life, but I guarantee you, if we got into a conversation, a sisterhood conversation, a lot of the things that's going on with me is going on with you, and vice versa. So
Yes.
that's why we created this platform. So we as a community, a sisterhood, can start talking about things that's affecting all of us as individuals, especially in these days and times. We have a lot of similarities, but talking
Hmm.
them out so we can come together to help each other and share, so all of us is not carrying the burden,
That's right. Yes. Yes.
because
Yes.
we've already
Absolutely.
carried so many burdens. We already do so many things. We already are there for so many people. We already have helped and nourished and taken care of, and a lot of the things that melanated women have done. But the one thing that we need to really do is take care of ourselves.
Absolutely.
We
Yep.
got to take care of ourselves because our health, all of this is really starts to concern our health, our mental health, our emotional health, our spiritual health, our intellectual health, our social health. It impacts us. Stress and fear does.
Yes. And our physical health. Because if all of
Yes.
those other parts of ourselves are impacted, it puts stress on our bodies, and a lot of the diseases that we accept as, well, I'm getting older, or, well, their roots are all from stress. All
Yes.
diseases come
Most
from
diseases,
stress. A
yes. Yes.
dis-ease. There's a imbalance. So we want to, again, thank you. We're going to continue this topic next week. Thank you, Sister RJ, for your downloads.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And we want to wish everyone a good night, and join
Yes.
us next week. So we'll go a little deeper and see what
Yes.
Spirit brings through us as we connect with our breaths, our breathing, to give to you. So
And
I
if
thank
you
you.
are stressed or you have any fear, we have, a line at the bottom of the screen for you to tap in, to either Sister Umi. You may need to talk to her. You may need a reading. You may just need some sisterly support. We can't assume that everybody has a sister circle or tribe that they can trust or that they can confide in. You can reach out to me as well if you need any coaching or any sisterhood activities to show up. We're in Atlanta. Sister Umi is in Florida. If you
Yes.
know someone that's in our area and they need assistance, we just need to start really supporting each other more.
Absolutely. And utilizing the wisdom and the gifts that are right here amongst us in our community. So we're going to have our contact flyer up after we come off of the screen. We'll keep that contact flyer up for a little bit. You can scan the QR code if you want to get in contact with either one of us. And we wish you all peace and blessings and
Yes, peace and
good
blessings, love and
night.
light.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Peace.